Hey everybody, check it out. I'm early. Wow, 3 minutes early. Imagine that. Got myself fresh. What's this? Summersby original cider. Just played in Newcastle. It was the City Hall, right, Jesse, that we played?
City Hall, brother.
Beautiful venue, old venue, legendary venue. People told me everybody from the Beatles to Van Halen have played there. And we played some Beatles tonight. We played some Van Halen tonight. So there's that. It was really, really fun. Great show, great crowd, especially for a Sunday. About I think around 1,000 strong. Nice theater crowd. Marty Boy says good evening from the land of Scots. We just got back from Scotland. Had a great time up there. Edinburgh was beautiful, and we had a fantastic show there and a fun one in Dundee too. Really good. What have you guys been doing? I haven't seen you for 2 weeks. What's happening? Got 73 people online already. That's fantastic. Let's see. I'm going to go back to the beginning of the chat here, and I'm just going to head right into answering some guitar questions just for fun. My knees hurt says he's got a Gretsch short scale bass, and the adjustment screw for the bridge height is razor sharp. How can I fix it? Sounds like a good job for a tech. I mean, I would probably take it to somebody to see if they can, like leave it up to somebody that's got some nice files and stuff and see if they can, you know what I'm saying. Christopher is there in the super chat zone already. What's up, man? Thanks, dude. He says here's towards the cider fund. Man, the cider fund. Too much cider on this tour. I'm gonna have a dry March.
Dry March, yeah.
I'll wind down when I get back. I'm here with Jesse Smith, fantastic singer and guitar player here. You can't see him, but he's over there.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, been a lot of this on this tour, to be honest. Just to be completely transparent. You have a gig on Friday. Well, I figure I'll wind down through the rest of February, and then March will be, we'll figure it out. Which Beatles songs did you play? We played Get Back tonight. I actually don't play on it. It's the one song that I sit out on and let the guys do it as a four-piece because, just have an extra guitar. It's like, why bother? I get a little paid vacation during that one. And I watch them play. Okay, back to the beginning of the chat here. Paul says he's late. No, you weren't late, dude. I was early, which never happens. What else we got here? Let's see. You guys are talking about the screw on that guitar. Ray's got some info on City Hall, Newcastle. He says he's seen many bands there for free. Cool. I knew the doorman backstage pass. The fellow working the door tonight is one of the most pleasant security people I've ever met in my life. He's so complimentary and helpful, and just
during the gig he was rocking out.
Yeah, he loves it. He's having a really good time. So, guy at the stage show, just such a nice guy. Really cool. Makes a difference when the people in the venue are really nice, like the local crew and stuff like that, and local staff. It's really great when they're cool. So, yeah. Great show in Darlington, says Ray. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, we've been having fun. Working hard. Man, I rocked tonight. I just whipped my neck around about 25 minutes ago, kind of hard. And I'm like, I think I'm going to feel that tomorrow. Little whiplash situations. Guys, I know the Super Bowl is on right away. Isn't it starting in like 45 minutes or something? Or in maybe not even like in, 45 minutes, I think. I could be wrong about that, but I tried to start just before that, and I probably won't stay. I'll stay like an hour, but I know probably a lot of people in the States are going to watch that stuff. So,
are you singing the national anthem?
I have no idea. I don't know anything. To be honest, I haven't been following anything about the Super Bowl this year. So, I'm not really a football guy. Canadian, didn't grow up with the NFL. Just kind of was my deal. I watched hockey, but. Anyways, what else we got here? Other questions. Yeah, Tom says he needs to go do some stuff for the game and hopefully catch me. Yeah. Well, I won't keep you from the game. So, what else we got here? How is a bridge humbucking pickup different than the same model neck pickup? Generally speaking, neck pickups will be weaker because the string vibrate. I mean, you can literally see it, right? If you hit a string, the low E is the easiest to sing. Hit it, you'll notice it's vibrating much more at the neck than it is out at the bridge. You'll notice that the vibration's wider. That actually makes it louder for whatever reason. So that's why generally bridge pickups are more powerful than neck pickups, because if you put two pickups the exact same strength in the neck and the bridge, the neck will be louder. So yeah, doesn't mean it's not going to work. Scott Henderson likes all his single coils, I think, in his guitar to be the same strength, but he's a little bit of an anomaly, I would say, as far as most players usually will go for a slowly lower. Like for instance, on the Thornbuckers, the neck is quite weak. It's a 7.3K or something like that, almost like a T-top style. As far as the strength of the whine goes, and that's part of why it's so clear, because you just really in the neck, especially, don't need all that power. So if you wind it up to 8K in the neck or something, it can be a little bit bassy sometimes, a little bit overpowering, a little loud. Then you're dropping the pickup way down to try and compensate generally. So I find that the 7 point something, in the neck, and then an 8 point something in the bridge is a good combo as far as that Kales or whatever output. Yeah. Eric says, hope that you're surviving over there. I am. We filmed a rig rundown thing, but I just haven't put it together yet. So, and I'm also going to do a separate video on how I'm using the quad cortex, because a lot of people are like, are you using that like instead of an amp? No, I'm not. I'm using it at the end of the chain just for effects and stuff on the way to the PA after my amp. So I want to show you how I do that and demonstrate it, because it's actually working out really good. It sounds great. It's an easy way to do a stereo rig and get some stereo effects going to the PA and get a really big sound in the PA without bringing that much stuff. Yeah. All right. What else we got here? Let's see. I was at the London Cadogan Hall gig. Seeing you play Hot for Teacher live is a bucket list lifetime experience of immortal riffage. Thanks, dude. I got to see Eddie do it in '84, and that was for me, bucket list. Like the '84 tour was the first time I ever saw Van Halen live, and it was one of those shows that I waited out all night as a little kid for tickets for. Back in the days before Ticketmaster and all that, when you could wait in line for tickets and get the best seats, it was cool. First come, first serve kind of thing at the ticket thing. My parents would let me do that. They'd let me sleep out overnight. I could literally go overnight to it was Southgate Shopping Center in Edmonton, for anybody who lives in Edmonton. I'd go there, and in the Woodward's store, I haven't thought about that for a long time. It was an old, now completely gone, department store. They had the ticket counter for local shows, and so I'd line up there at Woodward's, and I'd get there, and I was never first in line. It's like, even if I got there at 10 p.m. the night before the tickets went on sale, there'd always be somebody in line in front of me. But I might have been third or fifth or whatever in line, and I'd bring a sleeping bag. Anyway, there's Wayne Banks, fantastic bass player and great guy all around. Cool hand. Couldn't see him, so I don't even know why I said that, but he walked by and went to the bathroom. Anyways, I'd wait out for tickets, and I'd sleep overnight, sleeping bags. So totally not safe, but it was the 80s, whatever it is. We did stuff like that. And you'd get, the doors would open up at 10 a.m. and you'd get inside and, get up to the counter and get whatever you could get. What's the closest seats on the floor? And so for Van Halen, it was third row floor. That was what I got, but they were way on the end. So if there was 40, I think it was 40 seats in a row, we had seats like 37 and 38 or something, me and my friend. So we're way on the side on Michael Anthony's side, but it was still amazing. Third row floor. It was great. Killer. Just so much fun. How's the tour been? Fantastic, man. Really, really, really good. A blast. We're having a great time. It's intense work, but it's fun. Brian's there with the super chat. He says, I said something about putting Filtertrons in a Les Paul style guitar. Thoughts? Cool. I mean, sort of along the lines of maybe what Duesenberg does with some guitars. And also when we think about, like, I'm not a Gretsch guy. I don't know that much about them, but they had the Jet guitars and stuff that are sort of Les Paul that have Filtertron. How different is it really? It's like, aren't they sort of like, I know there's some differences, but we're talking about a set neck guitar that I think is mahogany with filter. So it's almost like Jets are sort of like, the ones with the Filtertrons in them that I'm talking about. I don't know. Gretsch, there's a little hole in my knowledge there as far as like all the, the different models, because I've never actually owned a Gretsch guitar, and I really actually want to get one. I'd love to get the Brian Setzer model because it's so set up for rock and for like right out of the gate for with the pinned bridge and the slightly hotter pickups and stuff like that. It just seems like a great guitar to have. I have one guitar with a Filtertron in the neck, which is a James Trussart aluminum or hollow telly, one of those metal tees, and it's got a telly. It's got a Bigsby, and it's got, maybe some of you guys have seen it before, but it's like probably I haven't played it a lot. I need to play it more. I'm just playing on some stuff like videos and stuff, but really cool guitar. I'm gonna find this other super chat here. I don't mean to mess these. Somebody in the UK, Guitar Smarts. What's up, man? Have you ever experimented with string material, pure nickel? So stainless steel, maybe only in the 80s. I know it's supposed to be the brightest. Nickel plated steel. Nickel plated steel is the standard kind of slinky whatever thing. That's what I use most of the time, the Primo slinkies. But I do sometimes use pure nickel. Like, for example, on my Van Halen style guitars, the striped jobbies, I've been putting the Eddie sets on them, like, which you can't get anymore because they used to make a 5150 set of strings. They don't do that anymore. But now I'll buy the Fender pure nickel, like, I think they're called 150 XLs or whatever. It's a 9, 11, 15, 24, 32, 40 gauge. And those are the gauges that he used to use. And I'll just use those gauges because that's cool. And I'll just use the pure nickel because that's what he used to use. So anybody remember the 5150 strings in the 80s? And they were like, they were made by, I don't know who actually, probably made by Ernie Ball or something, but they were pure nickel. And that's what I would use. That's what I do use, I should say, on those guitars. So, and they do sound, nickel just sounds warmer, and they die sooner, but they're cool sounding, and they sound cool with heavy distortion because they're warmer. So it's a formula thing where they tend to balance out a lot of gain, So yeah. Yeah, Nathan's asking if I've ever thought about doing the Van Halen Experience Band with Mitch on tour. It's definitely been discussed, like doing stuff beyond what we did that one show. So we shall see. Yeah, this fella says that his neck pickup on his 73 SG is amazing, not tubey sounding. Wish my Les Paul sounded that good in the neck. You could get a weaker pickup. Try a Thornbuck. Get a Thornbuck and just buy a neck one and pop it in. You'll probably find like, oh yeah, that's really similar to my SG. It's all about the strength, I think. It's an Alnico 5, the Thornbucker, low wind pickup, and it's quite clear for a neck humbucker. Yeah. One more super chat there. Grab that. This one. Fantastic gig from start to finish in tonight, Newcastle. Hey, thanks, man. Are you home already? Amazing. Could hardly believe I was seeing you play in person after following you on YouTube. Yeah, I wonder about that. That's cool, man, that you mentioned that, because I wonder if like folks that have only seen me on YouTube and stuff are like, wow, that's weird. He's in a band. He's playing in a band. There he is. But thanks for coming to the show, man. It was a great show tonight. Really fun. Like, we had a great time too. And you guys were awesome. I noticed that the only bummer was that the venue security was like, sometimes people get up and want to do their thing. You out of here?
I see you in a
See
couple
you,
of days.
Okay, take care. Jesse Smith, he's got to go.
Good night, guys.
Travel safe tomorrow.
Thank you.
His sister's getting married, so great vocalist. Great vocalist. Anyway, day off tomorrow, so his sister's getting married, going to the wedding. Anyway, security was, making people sit and go back to their seats and stuff tonight and stuff. I guess it was just that was a bit of the vibe in the venue tonight. And so the crowd, for even with that going on, still by the end was all up on their feet and having a great time and stuff. It's just part of the protocol. It's an O2 venue and stuff. Is how it is. But anyway, great fun show tonight. Birthplace of Mark Knopfler, actually, Maryhill, Glasgow. Is that right? Because a bunch of people were saying Newcastle, right? That Mark was from Newcastle. People were telling me that today, but I didn't know if that was true either. That's interesting. Huh. Marhill, Mark Knopfler. Or Maryhill, Glasgow. So he's actually Scottish. Interesting. Huh. Cool. Even Peter. I like that you called me Peter. Almost nobody does that anymore, so it's a welcome change. I put 2 Alnico Blue in series, which lowers the volume but still sound great. Ever run selections in series. Hey, there's Rudy.
Hello, people. I heard somebody went to the show tonight.
Yeah, this fella right. This gentleman right here.
Oh, nice.
That left the super chat. His name is Pete. Yeah, so he was at the show, and he said it was.
I was especially good tonight, wasn't I? I felt like I really nailed it.
Lead singer disease. LSD. Give me my cider back. Yeah, come back if you want.
Thanks for coming.
Rudy's amazing, man. Rudy every night blows me away with his stamina and he's so consistent. That man just sang Bohemian Rhapsody about 30 minutes ago. Beautifully. Always beautifully. How does he do it? 2 Alnico Blue in series. I don't know much about series. I mean, all my 412s are wired series parallel, I think. Just the Marshall way. The typical old school. So, educate me in series wiring. It actually lowers the volume? I haven't heard that. 5150 strings, Ryan says, was all I used in the 80s and 90s. Yeah, I used to buy them too. I liked them. Is there an EVH string set with those gauges? No, Eddie actually just kind of went to regular 9s later in his career, as far as I know. He seemed to just end up on 9 to 42. I guess he just got tired of messing around with the different gauges or whatever. But I think he just used running balls for us, didn't he? Pretty sure. But the 5150, 9, 11, 15, 24, 32, 40, which was the original Fender 150 XL gauge. You could get them like that. And super bullets too, the ones with the bullet end on them. Remember those? Instead of a ball end? Super bullets. Yeah. Really showing my age there, bringing those up. I don't think you've been able to get those for a long time. What was the reason John Sir went from go to 1996 to the original Floyd Rose as of late? I actually don't know that. I'd have to ask him. Is that what he's done? I know Floyd Rose. I think I don't want to start any rumors or anything like that, but I think Floyd's for a while, like the knife edges might have been slightly like they'd find that sometimes they had to sharpen them and stuff, the knife edges to get them, and then they'd work great, like the Floyds that were coming out in recent years and stuff. So maybe the Godot's were just more consistent, but I know they were giving them feedback on that. So maybe they wanted them to use Floyds, and then we're like, hey, we'll give you a great deal on a whole bunch of Floyds if you. And then Sir might have been like, I'm speculating completely, but might have been like, we'll get the knife edges together or whatever, and then I don't know, and then now they're consistent or something. I just made all that up, but it was probably something like that. Probably. I kind of like the idea of using original Floyds, to be honest. I mean, like, that's cool, I like the look of the original Floyd. It just looks cool to me. If you're gonna have a Floyd on a guitar, just might as well do that, Yeah. Doesn't Fender still sell those bullets? I don't know. I don't think so, but they might. Yeah. Yeah. This fella Jeff, he says he's Ernie Baller Gibson bright wires. Aren't bright wires stainless steel? Or were they? I used to use those blue steel. You know, I used to use those blue steel Dean Markleys for. I had a Dean Markley endorsement for a number of years. I went from Dean Markley to SIT, and I must say that SIT. No, sorry, not SIT. DR. I have to jog my own memory because it was very forgettable. DR. Those strings were. Man, I had a lot of problems with those. I don't want to talk. I'll just be honest. But like, how they had round core ones and hex core. I had more DRs that had. Do you guys ever get a set of strings? You might notice this once in a while, where like you put them on your guitar and the D string just sounds completely out of tune. Has that ever happened to you, where the D string vibrates and sounds like like you play it on its own and it sounds out of tune? One note will just kind of, and what happens is, for whatever reason, I don't know why. Maybe it's just the gauge of having So of course, on a wound string, you've got a core. And usually it's a hex core, which means it's got a six-sided, the core is actually six-sided, wrapped with the wrap around it, right? And for whatever reason, on the thinner strings, sorry, my contact lens is bugging me here. Fix it. On the thinner strings, this phenomenon will happen more. So it's usually the D, and it'll sound like it's vibrating completely out of tune. It's so messed up. It's crazy. So anyways, that happened a lot to me on DR strings, where I would get bad D strings, and it was really annoying. So eventually I switched from DR in the late 2000s, like 2006 or something. And I got an Ernie Ball endorsement. I've been with them ever since and been very happy about that. So it was, for me, Dean Markley. My first string endorsement was Dean Markley, which was great. They were really nice, great artist relations guy, but then he left, went somewhere. And I ended up at DR. Really nice people, but I just didn't get along with the strings. I still did my best with them, used them for a number of years, but I had a lot of problems. And the rest is history. Now I'm Ernie Ball for many years. Brian says, saw you at your Pittsburgh clinic. That was a nice one at that nice store. I think I remember that store. Did you know Reb Beach was there early on? Yeah, I did. I met Reb before, actually, and he was there to buy a delay pedal that day. And we talked for a little while. That was the only time I've ever met him, but he was very nice. And he's been using PT100 amps for a number of years on tour with his multiple different acts that he plays with. Have you bought anything cool on this tour besides coffee? And a lot of coffee and cider. You kind of nailed it. I haven't really bought much else. I haven't, not really. I bought a couple books. That's it. Bought a Japanese book and a book on geography, actually, that I found in the bookstore, and kind of how it's about sort of like geography and how it's sort of shaped, like it's like geopolitical, kind of like why Northern Europe developed and became actually sort of more economically, a powerhouse before Southern Europe and stuff like that. It's an interesting book. So I don't know. I just saw it in the bookstore and thought I'd pick it up. Have you ever played with Matt Schofield? I have not. Nice guy though. He's cool. I always like GHS boomers. I used to use those a little bit when I was a kid too. They were pretty cool. Excuse me. What else we got here? What's the best way to learn songs on short notice? Generally speaking, I use phrase trainers. That's really helpful, as opposed to iTunes or something. Load them in the phrase trainer, and you need to just devote time. Like, you need to like turn off the phone, use transcribe. That's what I use, so I can slow songs down and hone in on parts and loop them and stuff like that. It's software, transcribe. It's from a company called Seventh String. It's a nice phrase trainer. And just I once learned 23 or 24 songs in about 36 hours, which was insane. And I was like losing my mind. I was still on charts for like a couple of them by the time I had to go to rehearsal. But And then the gig never ended up happening. It was nuts. I still got paid for learning all the material, but it was really dumb, that whole thing. But anyways, we won't talk about that stupid situation that I won't relate. But I worked my ass off learning all these songs for about 36 hours, got them all down, and then it didn't end up happening. But anyways, yeah. And what was my point about? I mean, how I learned it? I just loaded them in transcribe, and I just worked, like as much as I could. Um, did one, moved on to another, went back and reviewed the first one, reviewed the second one. Ideally, what I do is learn like 3 a day, and that's it. If I'm learning for a tour, I'll learn like 3, stop, maybe come back, review them a little bit later, and then I'll review them in the morning, and then I'll learn 3 more the next day, and then I'll learn 3 more the next day, and always review the ones from the day before, kind of. And so then by like day 3 or 4, you've got like 9 or 10, something like that done. And then I'll spend the next day just reviewing those songs, 9 songs or 10 songs. That's it. No, don't learn anymore. Then take a day off. Kind of get in there. And then start 3 more the next day after that, after the day off, 3 more. Now you're up to, 15, 16 songs. So if you've got to learn 20 something songs for a set or something, that's how I do it. And you can do it within like a little over a week or week to 2 weeks, and you can learn like a lot of material that way. Yeah. And the little breaks to retain, like sleeping is important, sleeping it like really gets them in there. My G string sounds horrible always, like out of tune, but it is fully in tune, drives me mad. Is it a strat? Because it could be stratitis where your pickup's pulling on the string, like the magnet from the pickup, the neck pickup, generally speaking. If it's too high, it can pull on the string. Yeah, just depends, Yeah, Quentin says if he breaks the string, he just buys a new guitar. That's cool. I mean, if you can do that, just more power to you. Luxury. Just got my new Wilkinson bridge. Thing's awesome. Love OG Floyd's, but yeah, my old ones, the edges would get dull. Yeah, you'd have to, use a Dremel or something and polish them. John's really good at that stuff. John, sir, getting him set up real good. The thing about John is not just a builder and a designer. He's a repair guy. Brilliant repair guy. Like you bring him a guitar with problems and he can fix them. Not every builder can do that. It's kind of interesting. You make guitars from scratch, but you bring him a problem guitar that's got some issue, and John knows how to fix them. It's kind of wild. It's a great skill. He's a tech, from the beginning. Then he became a builder. Can you mic a cabinet at bedroom level with a fire power station? It will still be like playing at full volume with a 50 watt. Sort of. You're not going to be moving the speaker. I mean, experiment with it. Try it. Mic it at really low volume. Gain up the mic pre, and then crank the cabinet louder. Try it at a couple different volumes. Mic just you can even just play a few chords so that you can A B it and listen, and you'll notice that it changes the sound somewhat. And what you're not getting is of course the pushing of the speaker, but it's a similar sound. You're still pushing the amp. Using the Fryette, I find I generally push the amp pretty hard, but then the cabinet less. I mean, I'll back down the volume considerably, maybe not to half, but of what it would be, but I'll considerably reduce it using the Fryette. Excuse me, I'm burping because I'm drinking cider. Just have to deal with it because this is post gig and this is how I roll. It is what it is, for God's sakes. So we're not in Coffee Zone. We'll be back in Coffee Zone on Sunday mornings next week. I can't believe that. Will I really be home next week? The 20th. I mean, I think it'll be just the day after I get home. And I'll do it because I'll be up. I'll be jet lagging. So I know I'll be up first thing in the morning. But yeah, next Sunday, back to regular scheduled time. Craziness. Crazy, man, I tell you. Yep. 2 more gigs we have on this tour. Nutty. We're 29 gigs in. 29 we've done. Isn't that wild? 29 3-hour shows. Saw you in Dundee last night. Great show, killer tone. Thanks, man. Really like the bass player. That's Wayne. Isn't he amazing? He's so good, man. And he's that dude, you'll be happy to know he's salt of the earth, too. He's like such a sweet guy. Just a great, great guy. Drums a touch loud. Interesting. Good feedback. Love it in an elevator. Yeah, we do that. We had fun with that one tonight. Drums loud. But overall, good mix, right? Gareth does a really good rock and roll mix. Can't please everybody, you know. Yeah. What else have we got here? Just looking through the questions here. See what we got. You were all fantastic. Thanks, man. Yeah, tonight was really fun. We had a good time tonight. Third gig in a row. You know, 3. So we're warmed up. That's for sure. Naive Steve says last time you saw me was Valentine's Day 2020. 2 years and one pandemic later. Yeah, man, the last tour. Crazy. All right, all the way to the bottom of the chat I go. See what's going on down here. You must miss your studio. Yeah, I do. I miss home. I mean, it's like it's weird, right? Because I was home for 2 years, and I'm used to mixing it up more, like being away on tour and then coming back to the studio, being away on tour. The variety. This was home for 2 years, which was like, oh my god, I think I need to get out of here. I'm going to go insane. So then I came here, but then you get here and you're like, it's been amazing, but it's also like a lot at once, like just throwing on the bus of 16 people after you're in a very small bubble, and now you're with 16 people. And luckily, everybody's amazing. They're all great guys. We have a lot of fun, but it is like, you're like, after about 4 weeks, you're like, man, I kind of miss home. Like I miss my bed, miss, all the stuff, the studio and like LA, and, so it's always like that though on tour, but I think it's just accentuated this time because of the situation, getting thrown into a different environment all of a sudden. It's so different from the last couple of years, but that's part of touring, man. You got to be able to adapt, you have to be able to adapt. That's probably the hardest part of touring, being flexible, adaptable. If you can do that, then it's like sink or swim. Have a new PT100 arriving on Tuesday. That's amazing. Any quick tips where to set the feedback and depth to get it closer to JCM 800? Probably right in the middle. I would do probably depth off or depth middle. I don't know if JCM 800s actually have a depth circuit in them. They have more bass in the preamp than the PT100, a little bit. Although the PT100 has ample bass in the preamp still. So start with it off and just run the bass like on 5 and see how you feel about that. And then try and turn the depth to the middle and maybe run the bass on 3 or 4 and see how you feel about the sound. The feedback in the middle should be about JCM 800 kind of territory. I never run it higher than half, really, feedback. Sometimes I'll run it on 3 or 4 if I want a slightly softer sound, or generally my default is just in the middle, which has a center indent on it. So give it a try. I'm not the biggest 800 fan. I mean, I think that they sound good if you tweak them. They can sound amazing, but right out of the gate, they always sound a little anemic and a little flubby to me, which is a weird combo. Too much bass and not enough gain. Just kind of, it's not a great sound to me. When you open them up, they sound amazing. You can, crank them. Like if you can run the master on like 7, and run the preamp on 6, 7, 8. Oh my God, now you got an amazing sound, It tends to just kind of even the whole thing out somehow. But anyway. Your Van Halen covers were awesome. Never heard anyone nail. But by the way, the last fellow, thanks for checking out the album. I hope you really enjoyed PT100. Hope it's a good purchase for you and a great tool for you for years. Never heard anyone nail Drop Dead Legs. That song is amazing to me, and I worked really hard on it. I must say, I practiced it a lot to try and get the feel, and because it's so great. God, what a great song. And I tried to just have a lot of fun on the outro and improvise and do kind of my own thing there, but in the style of Ed, obviously. I think you're talking about the Mitch video that you saw, right? So much fun. One of the most fun songs to play that night for sure. It's such a great riff. It's just there's something about it that so captures the era. I mean, it is the '80s in a time capsule, and like a great. It's just like that party '80s Van Halen vibe. It's such a great tune. You know, um, it's a riff. I love the sort of post chorus. You know, when the night is through, when I still be loving you. Like the kind of muso part there that he manages to sneak in with just enough, muso stuff going on. Well, it's still just a party, that song. It's so cool. Hey, Andy. Yeah, shower's in there, around the corner. The outro was dead on. Thanks, man. Yeah, so much fun. Oh, what else we got here? Out snowboarding, says Stephen while listening. That's cool, man. Don't fall over. I know you can fall down and bruise your butt. Snowboarding, real easy, right? Congrats on the PT100. Nice amp. Thanks, man. What else we got here? Oh, I missed a super chat. Thanks, Ben. Hey, Ben. What's going on, man? Have you played or seen Shank's rig or thoughts on it? It's crazy. I'm friends with John, so it's a crazy rig. I mean, it's like, but it's cool, but it's crazy. It's a lot of stuff, but it's a cool way to do it. It's the old Landau studio method. So the way that Shanks does his rig is a bunch of amps in a rack. The amps are all on switchers, so he can pick different heads, a cleaner at one or Marshall or different things. And then they all get switched through an amp switcher. And then there's a bunch of pedals in front of the amps that are all switched, via presets or he can switch them individually using a pedal board. All the pedals are racked. And then what happens is it goes to a cabinet. So, all the amp switcher or whatever goes to a cabinet, dry cabinet, where the output of the switcher goes to the cab. That cabinet is mic'd probably with a 57. The output of that 57 goes to an API mic preamp that's in his rack. And the output of that microphone, so studio style really, output of that microphone feeds a line mixer in his rack. That line mixer then can feed various stereo effects like you would do on a recording console. So delays, reverbs. He's got a very expensive, crazy like $4,000 reverb in the rack. He's got PCM 41. He's got different effects that then he can mix in just like you would, using a studio mixer and return that. And then of course that mixer has a stereo out and that feeds front of house. So it's like a studio style rig, but he uses it live, And this is how Landau used to, in the 80s and stuff. It was the old Landau way, miking, line mixer in the rack, add the effects, stereo out, send that to the guy, the engineer or whatever, and that's what would get recorded. So you have your dry sound and the wet sound mixed via the mixer with these nice effects, rack mount effects and stuff. You can get very stereo, crazy, It's a different way of doing. It's sort of wet, dry, wet, I guess, but you really just have a stereo output coming out of the mixer, Rain or Ashley or whatever the line mixer is in the rack. Kind of neat. Kind of neat. Have you ever had a chance to play a Knopfler guitar? Read somewhere as a starting point for your signature. The starting point for my signature guitar, although I might have said that in interviews. I remember the Knopfler guitar from the 80s, the way his kind of aesthetic. Like on magazine covers, he'd have a, black Pensacer with EMGs and a Floyd, whatever, or maybe the Sunburst one, you know. And so I remembered those guitars that, you know, it's kind of the standard body shape as well, like mine. Now, I went to Sir in around 2014, I think, and did a video for the Riot, I think, like there at the factory. And I just used a guitar that was there, and it was called a Mahogany Deluxe. So it was a mahogany body, a flame maple top with kind of a burnt sort of brown finish, really cool, gold hardware, two humbuckers, a Goto 510 bridge, mahogany neck, rosewood board, very much like the spec of my guitar. And I played it, and I was like, this guitar is lovely. Like, this is a really nice guitar. I like this. I want to order one like this, but I wasn't the biggest fan uh, of flame tops, even though this one did actually look really great. I'm not the biggest fan of flame tops on Strats. It's just not my thing. I think flame top is cool on a Les Paul, you know, but on a Strat, I kind of like solid colors or plain or ash, you know, looking tops or whatever. That's cool, but see-through. If it's going to be see-through, I'm not crazy about flame on Strats. Just never have been. Or Tellys. So I thought, what if I order one that has, like, you know, a colored back, but a black top, like I remember seeing on the Knopfler guitars, and it has a scrape binding, has binding. So that's when I ordered my black one, you know, it had a red back with see-through, like see-through red sort of. You know. And I also remembered a black, like Les Pauls that, well, Gibson was doing some like 57 custom shop stuff that had a black top and a natural sort of back with binding. And I loved the look of those guitars. So I was kind of like thinking about those. Yeah. And so anyway, it was the Mahogany Deluxe. And I probably never would have thought, oh, mahogany for a Strat style guitar. It's mahogany neck, mahogany body. It's like, that's for Les Pauls. Only that I went there and I did that video and I used the Mahogany Deluxe. And I was like, this guitar sounds amazing. It's like, actually really sounds good. I still love the way the mahogany sounds, you know, on my signature model. Jake Hepworth there in a super chat, and then there's another question I'm going to answer here. What's something else? My favorite guitarist tone is Super Reverb, almost dimed. I love Super Reverb dime. It sounds great. You want to emulate it with pedals. Clean to growly dirty. I mean, it's one of those things where it's just such an organic amp thing. How do you do it with a pedal? But I don't know, maybe the Dumbleoid or maybe like the what was that pedal from Mad Professor? I'm trying to remember the name of it. Symboloid or something. Or I'm thinking about like Dumble style pedals. Maybe a Zen Drive, but that's more like gain kind of. How do you do cranked Fender with a pedal? I've done a couple recently. There was one pedal from Crazy Tube Circuits that I did a video of a little while ago that might kind of fit the bill. Anyways, look back for that one. Kind of a brown, more of a deluxe style thing. I don't know, you know. This fella says, sorry, I don't know if that's a great answer, Jake, but look for some Fender style pedals from, oh, you know what, Cornerstone. Look for the look at some of the Cornerstone videos I've done of the different, like there's a John Mayer pedal where he was trying to do Mayer's tone, and another one, the Gladio preamp. Look at the Gladio preamp video that I made and see if that's a cool tone to you. David says, notice there were no mics in front of cabs. Yes, so I'm taking the line out of my amplifier, but I actually have the IR switch defeated. So I'm not doing the IRs in the amp. I'm doing them actually in the quad cortex. So I'm coming line out into the quad cortex, and then I'm adding some cab sims. So I'm using the cab sims in the quad cortex, which are actually the ones that stock neural DSP ones. And they sound quite good, so I'm using those. And then running into some stereo effects, like a little bit of delay, a little ambience from like a little reverb. We play a Rush song. I use stereo chorus on that. And it lets me get sort of belching on the interwebs. It lets me get some stereo stuff going in the PA that works really well. So yeah, I've got a 412 signature PT cabinet on stage with greenbacks and V30s, but it's just for my on-stage sound, and it's not being mic'd. Sounds great though. Flaps in my pants, yo. What's the best way to learn the notes on the neck? Pick a note. So let's say the A, let's say an A note, right? So play it on the 6th string. So that's the 5th fret. Now play it on the 5th string at the 12th fret. Now play it on the 4th string at the 7th fret. Now play it on the 3rd string at the 2nd fret. So what I'm doing is I'm playing A notes in between the 1st fret, no open notes allowed, and nothing above the 12th fret. So 1st fret to 12th fret. So you'd have take the A's starting from the 6th string. You're going to be boom, and then you're going to go up to the boom, the octave on the, and then you're going to play same note on the 4th string, and then the same note on the 3rd string at the 2nd fret, and then up another octave on the B string, and then at the 5th fret on the E string. Yes, I just did that. Does that make sense? So play between the 1st fret on every string between the 1st fret and the 12th fret. Find every A. Now do that to a metronome. Boom. And then go backwards all the way down. Now do that with every note. If you do that for about 15-20 minutes a day, within 2 weeks you'll know the name of every note on the neck. Guitar lesson. I guarantee it. I was taught that at GIT and it really worked. Pedal board in the loop of the Fryette. You have amp switcher. Can you use your board with all amps, cabs at home? Well, I could run the stuff that I have designed for the post path in the loop of the Fryette. I could do that easily, yeah. Like my H9s and my timeline delay. Time-based stuff, sure. No reason that you couldn't do that. I don't do that, but I could. I have a Korg delay, the STD 3000, in the loop of the Fryette, just for a little echo if I want it. Many times I'll just bypass it. But it lets me just add some delay easily and quickly if I want a little mono delay. Yeah. Your falsetto broke my internet. Oh! Pretty good lesson. It works, man. That's a great way to learn the neck. Trust me. Oh no, you're singing in key. Trashed my connection. Do you like any Empress pedals? Yeah, man. Sometimes I get Empress mixed up with the other brand, with Diamond. But the Empress Heavy, that's a great sounding distortion box. The Empress Tape Delay, great sounding delay. There's a couple that come to mind. What makes Dumble style pedals EQ curve different from a Klon or TS style pedal? Well, a Klon compared to a TS, to me, a Klon has a bigger, fatter mid and doesn't really attenuate bass. A Klon to me has a great big low mid kind of voice, just kind of a full, or maybe just full mids. Tube Screamer is more mids into upper mids and lops off bass, so it has a different sound. Although they're in the same wheelhouse. A good Tube Screamer and a good Klon aren't worlds apart. They're not as different as, say, a Fuzz Face and a Big Muff. You know? Dumble style pedals. I mean, Dumble, what is Dumble? Because it's like, that's almost like a Marshall style pedal. Well, is it a JTM 45 or is it a Super Lead or is it, a JCM 800? They all sound different, somewhat different. So Dumbles were a little all over the map too. So I don't know that, the Zen Drive was the original Dumble pedal, the one Robin Ford used for a long time. Nothing wrong with, those at all. Zen Drive is the tone of the solo on Guitar Nerd, my first album. The solo on 10th Street. It's my 335 into my Zen Drive into my basement, my 66 basement, probably into my 112 cabinet or something. I love the sound of that solo. It's just really, it sounds kind of dumbly, I guess. It sort of sings and it's vocal. Very happy with that tone. I suppose I should go relatively soon, guys, because I know some people are going to watch the Super Bowl. So it's I've been going 49 minutes. I'm just going to go an hour today. Next week, I promise I'll be back on regular schedule. But I do want to go to the bus and eat something and stuff. And I'm kind of knackered because I just did a 3-hour gig. So, and sorry about last week that I couldn't make it last week. It was London. It was like, it was a little nutty, like 2 shows in London. And after show was just kind of crazy and stuff. So I just decided to bail on one last week. What's everybody doing? Is everybody watching the Super Bowl? And me at the same time? What's happening? Happy Valentine's Day, says Ryan. That's right. To all the lovers. To all the girls I've loved before. That have walked in and out of my door. I'm glad you came along. I dedicate this song to all the girls I've loved before. I'll stop that now. To all the girls I've loved before. No, I won't. Do you like Ace Frehley? Yeah, man. Ace is like, he's a legend. He played a lot of cool stuff. Come on, we got to give it up for Kiss. I think Paul Stanley's one of the coolest guys in rock. Sweet dude, cool guy. Gene, he's kind of seems like a bit of a hard ass, maybe a bit of an acquired taste, but he's probably pretty cool too. I don't know. They're legends, these guys. You guys want to hear my Kiss story? I'll tell you my Kiss story. One time, I was rehearsing at SIR. This is probably, I want to say the early 2000s. SIR, Studio Instrument Rentals, of course, rehearsal studio in LA, New York, etc. This was the LA one. The parking lot is notorious for being extraordinarily shitty. So I pulled in and I was just going to unload my gear, then move my car and try and find a spot for it somewhere. So I'm driving my little BMW that I had at the time, and I pulled up very close to the back end of this Lincoln Navigator that was parked right by the door. And I'm pulling up and trying to. There's a car dealership right there. They kind of share a lot with a Jaguar dealer. So I'm pulling up really close to this Lincoln so that I can leave space for the cars to pull by. They're going to the car dealership service department. And I pull up, and right as I'm braking, Gene Simmons walks around the back of the Lincoln Navigator, gives me this death stare, like, "You're really not going to hit me today, are you?" And I was like, "Oh, that's Gene Simmons." Oh, that was shocking. And I didn't hit him, didn't hit his Lincoln. And I got out of my car and started unloading gear. And he's then sitting in the lobby of SIR, and it's Gene Simmons and Peter Criss, and they're eating out of like to-go containers, like salads and stuff. And they're having an argument about money. And I'm pushing like my 412 cabinet, wheeling it down the hallway by them, like they're full on like arguing in the lobby of. And Peter's like, "Look, I just want to make money. I just need to make money on this tour. I need to make some money." And Gene's like, "Well, I need you to make money too. I want you to make money. I don't have a problem with that." Well, he's like eating a salad or whatever, and I was just sort of a party to this weird discussion. And it wasn't too long after that when you started to show. When Eric Singer started showing up in Peter Chris's makeup. And that was the end of that. Anyway, there you go. That's not my only run-in, but there you have it. It was funny. So the funny things that happen in LA. Yeah, Pete Iglesias sounds like Dracula. To all the girls I've loved before. They came in and out of my door. I dedicate this song. I'm glad they came along. Very scary if you're Canadian. Ben Coombs knows what I'm talking about. Paul Stanley knows guitars. He does. Yeah, he knows guitars. And he makes great food, evidently. I follow him on Twitter and stuff. And I think he's vegan, and like he cooks these meals, and then he posts pictures all the time. It's great. He's a great Twitter follow if you're a Twitter person. You're a goof, especially after a night of a couple of ciders and 3-hour gig. I get silly. I'm way more serious on Sunday mornings. How can you not like Ace Frehley? Exactly. He's my favorite in Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. The worst bad movie of all time, which means it's the best bad. Okay, Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park or Showgirls? You guys pick. Discuss. Sort of worst movie of all time. What do you think? I mean that in the best possible. I mean, Showgirls is incredible. The dialogue is just like it's the greatest. It's the greatest. But Kiss Meets Phantom of the Park is right up there too. Anyone else? Let's see. Oh, that's coin toss, right? I agree, Ben. Showgirls says, yeah, I'm gonna go show. If anybody hasn't seen Showgirls, just rent it tonight and thank me later. But make sure you're relatively intoxicated when you watch it because it'll be more entertaining, I think. Let's see. What else we got here? Count Floyd. That's right, Ben Coops. You got it. Count Floyd. Very scary. Canadians will know what we're talking about. Wish we had guitar centers in the UK where you can go and trade 10 picks for a string winder. Yeah, you guys got guitar, and you got Peach. If you haven't been to Peach, go there. What a great store. Big fan. Favorite Thin Lizzy song? I'm a rocker, and I'm a roller too, baby. Yeah, that's a good one. But there's Still in Love with You is pretty good. Your Gene impersonation, spot on. Or on point. Thank you. Oh, man. What else we got here? Go all the way to the end of the chat. I'm splitting in 4 minutes, you guys. I'm gonna go. Just doing an hour today. Back to regular scheduled programming next week. All right. Somebody tell me something interesting here. Let's see here. Black Rose. Oh, Black Rose. Yeah. Sorry. But I kind of like, okay, so my sister was a big Thin Lizzy fan, and I came into them kind of late because whatever, it wasn't late, it was like I was a kid, so it was like Thunder and Lightning was out, and I know it's late Thin Lizzy. That was like, oh, whatever, that's sort of like, but it was kind of like hard rock, like metal Thin Lizzy a little bit, and Sykes was in the band. Cold Sweat. I got my money in a suitcase. I'm headed for the big race. I feel a chill down my backbone as I hang up the telephone. Right? Isn't that the lyrics? Ooh, that's good. Stone cold sober, stone cold sweat, running down the back of my neck. To lose means trouble, to win means double, and I got me a heavy bat. The cold, cold sweat. Which is where Zach Wilde got that from. Come on, tell me he didn't get that from that. Right? Scott Brockway says, I love Thunder and Lightning. I know, it's just badass. Like, dude, his vocal on that is like, it wasn't like the high singer guy, Stone cold soda and stone cold sweat running down the back of my neck. Oh man, that's some like manly, cool rock and roll, badass singing. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. John. No, I get excited when I think about this song. It's rock, man. That is just oof. Jailbreak. Totally Jailbreak. I mean, but that's a little bit earlier. Once Sykes joined, it got heavy. It got mean and metal. It got a little metal, but it was like pretty cool. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Late to the stream, says David. What are you doing in the UK? We just played like 29 shows. I've been all over this place. Solo in the Rocker is one of my favorite. Eric Bell was an underrated guitar player. You know what's interesting about them? They had so many guitar players, but like it all worked. Like every era, like there's not like a bad era of Thin Lizzy, really. It's like it was like almost like the guest guitar spot where different guys came through or whatever, and it was like I love all those eras of Gary and like John and like all these different dudes coming in and doing their thing with Phil's songs. It was so cool. Did you like Sweet? I don't know that much about Sweet, to be honest. I need an education in that band. A little bit more. What's your style? My style? Rock and roll, baby. The Cowboy song. Good one, for sure. Next to Lizzy guitarist. Well, but we don't have a Phil, so, Phil, man, if you guys haven't seen the documentary, I think it's on Hulu. It might be. I might be wrong about that, but it's a great Phil documentary that's out now. Just look for, search it on Google or whatever. In 2022, you'll see that it came out. Well, it might come out 2021, but oh man, is it ever good? It's so good. What a great lyricist he was, and an interesting dude. It's cool, just cool. Brian Robertson, yeah, of course. Scott Warren, Brian Robertson. Great stuff. What a great band, man. Cool band. Like, just you're a madman, rock and roll king. Dude, it's in my blood. It's in my blood. Do you guys know Black Rebel Motorcycle Club? They're another great band that's like totally unique and cool, I think. But you guys know that song, Whatever Happened to My Rock and Roll by Black Rebel Motorcycle Club? Come on, it was on the first record. And it's such a great song. I'm trying to get it in my head because I got Thin Lizzy stuck in my head right now. But I gave my soul to whatever happened to you. How's it go? I fell in love with a sweet sensation. I gave my heart to a simple cause. I gave my soul to a new religion. Whatever happened to you? Whatever happened to my rock and roll? What a great song and a great lyric. It's like, come on, man. I fell in love with this stuff. What happened? Like, this is our religion, man. It's such a great song. I love that band. Great. If you haven't heard the album Baby 81, if you want to hear a great rock record, just get into Baby 81. Listen to that record. Put it on. It's a bit of a grower, but kind of stuff we're talking about right now. If you bond with it, you want to hear a great record, maybe you're not familiar with, or maybe you are. But anyways, looking forward to playing along with the Pete and Dave drinking game. It's going to happen. We're going to do that. We talked about it. I got to do a show with Dave when I get back, and we'll do some sort of like have to drink when something happens sort of show. It'll be cool. You guys, I should go. I should let you go watch the Super Bowl. We're an hour and 2 minutes in. I'll be back to regular programming next week. Regular scheduling, regular scheduled programming. That's what I'm trying to say. Are you coming back for next year's Classic Rock Show tour? Well, we have such a brilliant time doing this. I'm sure I will be there. If Robert Plant comes along and is like, you must come on tour with me, I could probably be like, all right, I think I would do that. But I don't think that's probably going to happen. If it did, though, I would go. But, barring that, we're all here. We all do other things. Everybody in this band does other things and stuff, but we're all here because we have a great time doing this, and it's a really terrific group of people. So, and thanks for anybody that's out there that came to the shows on this tour. 2 more to go, and it's been brilliant. It's been great to get back and play live and get out there, and I don't know, just like I said, I gave my soul to a new religion. It was rock and roll. All right, everybody, have a great week, and I'll be back in LA next week. We'll see you at the old time, 11:30 loose, 11:35, 11:40 a.m. Bear with me. I'll be jet lagged, but I probably will have woken up at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. or something, so I'll be good and caffeinated by then, and then I'll crash after the show and go to sleep. All right, everybody. Love you all. Everybody have a great week, and go watch the Super Bowl. Enjoy. Over and out.